ground bales also.
All right, and we're in our back hay field. Year 2, right?
Year 2.
Okay. So we're in step 2 of making hay, which means we cut the hay before and now we are raking it. So after it sits and dries, we will rake it to kind of get it up off the ground. Actually, this area where I'm at now is a little bit lighter, but we'll get it up off the ground so it can dry a little bit more, because usually the top layer will dry from the sun and the wind, and sometimes the bottom layer still might be a little green and have a little moisture in it. So when we rake it, it will let it dry, kind of continue to dry, move air through it, but then it actually gets it ready so we can run the baler through and kind of accumulate it into what are our bales of hay. And so we will bale the hay into round bales, which we use to feed in the winter time. And then usually we do one cutting of hay where we will make small squares of hay as well. And this time I just know, we haven't talked about it, Scott usually is in charge of our hay crop and kind of managing what's going on out here. I'm still involved, but this is kind of his piece that he helps manage for the farm. I'm pretty certain, just with the weather that's coming up, that we're going to do all round bales of hay. It's supposed to maybe rain tonight, so we really want to try to get this all raked today and ideally bale it as much as possible so we can have it put up before the rain comes in. Unfortunately, because it's been so dry, we'll take the rain that we get, but ideally we really want to have dry hay. So we're going to go check out how things are going, maybe ride along a little bit and see how the hay's drying. It looks like I'm gonna go walk out there because I told Scott, since I was coming out to record some video, that I'd bring him something out if he wants it. So I'm bringing him some soda and ice, but I know he's on a time crunch, like I talked about, making sure we're down to the wire, we're getting as much hay done as possible. So I am gonna go hoof it out here and find him. Our hay crop isn't really looking too hot, which is kind of what I suspected was going to be the case. We've had a really dry spring, and then going into midsummer, we usually we'll start to have it dry up a little bit and not have as much rain. Without having the rainfall that we typically do in the spring, it's been not a great situation. So we were just talking about the quality of the hay that has been cut and then dried. It was not very tall, so it's going to be a challenge to bale. Quality wise, it's not really great because it was stunted in growth. I have an orchard grass and an alfalfa in there, and they grow at different rates. And then if they're stunted with the drought, it's just puts us in a tough situation. But we still have to cut it because we will cut the hay 3 times a season and then graze it to give us feed. So grazing is like feeding now, and cutting the other times will give us feed for winter. But the part that's tough right now is we have to cut it so it'll kind of encourage it to regrow, so we can do another cutting later this fall. So the good news is it's growing, but the bad news is we still have to go through this whole process. It's lower quality. We're going to get probably half the yield, so half the number of bales that we normally do, and the quality is going to be low. But it comes with the risk of farming. It's tough. But that's where we're at. So I'm hoping we get more rain, hopefully after we finish baling this hay, and then we get more rain so we can finish out the season on a slightly better note and be ready for winter. I don't want to talk about winter, but be ready for winter with our feed that we've harvested throughout the summer.